Hello everybody and welcome back. And the party have just left Threshold. This is Threshold and they're going north along what is called the Foamfire River in the Foamfire Valley. And this chapter is called Towards the Black Peaks and it has several set events over its 4 pages, and it's also got a lot of optional events as well. The DM is expected to drop in. There's meant to be quite a lot of role playing from the DM in terms of creating the atmosphere as the party make their way to the valley. I have to say, I'm going to try and make that happen, though I would like it to have been more well defined, the role play. You know, I'm actually got other things going on. I have to read and think about something that I don't really want to read and think about. But okay, let's forget about the real world. Right. So one of the first encounters I'm going to do is when the party get to about here. It's this tiny map and it's called Gnolls Sacred Ground. After about a day of going northward, it's about time to set camp, but up ahead is a very low hill. These are the contour lines, and this low hill is shrouded in mist, so it isn't really that easy to see the other side, which has this little hut. But as the party approach it, they notice that there are dozens of gnolls, so immediately they take formation and move forward. Now it becomes apparent the gnolls are not moving, and it turns out that they are on stakes. Yes, this mound is covered with several hundred wooden stakes. Speared onto each one is the full body of a gnoll. Some of the gnolls seem freshly dead while their bodies are intact, and some have been reduced to almost a skeleton. And as the evening sets in and the air grows colder, the mist seems to thicken. And then from nowhere we hear what could be thought of as cross between a wolf's howling and a hyena's cackling. There's this sort of piercing, yipping, wailing scream that echoes across this still, empty hill. That unnerves the party somewhat, as you can imagine. But it's Carrick that says, "This is a barrow, or I'm not a dwarf." And he is correct, it is. And of course barrows mean undead, and this is no place to camp at night. We will have to make our way around it, and if we do come across any undead, we're going to have to try and cleanse this place. And it really doesn't take long for the mist to thicken and for the sun to set behind the mountains. Even though the sky above us still looks to be daylight, the sun has gone. And sure enough, out of a hole where we don't see the hole, come rushing towards us 4 ghouls. Now we have a level 6 cleric, so I need to look at the turn undead table. And at level 6, Donard can destroy these ghouls. And if you remember, if you successfully turn the first round, you can keep turning again and again. They're only level 2. And there they go. They come rushing towards us. Our cleric holds up his holy symbol and says, "Begone, foul Dwimelake," and they crumble into dust. Now that seems to be the end of things. Well done, Donard. And we make our way further north. And again we hear this wailing, howling, hyena-like cry, and it's Stephen that says, "That's a gnoll." And sure enough, standing on the edge of the hill here, just emerging from the mist, is this bizarre-looking gnoll covered in rags and animal bones and waving a spiked club, and her face is painted with white chalk, and she's howling and screaming at us. This is a gnoll shaman, and she probably might put a curse on us. We can't really have that, so I think we need to silence her, because she might bring other gnolls upon us or run away and inform on us. So we're going to have to go up to her and finish this. As we do go up to her, her cries bring out a small troop of 8 gnolls here, so we've got 9 of them to deal with. What did the party do? Did the party prep anything before they approached? Yes, I think Malin would have cast shield spell and Donard would have cast his bless spell. Right, so that would have happened here. The fact that we're casting spells may have shut her up, but as we walk towards her, we get ambushed. there is no surprise. This is rather long distance encounter, and even though they've come out of the mist, there's still quite a distance between us. But we can roll for initiative. And we get initiative. Good. Missiles. And we have Liz with her short bow and Sylvia with her long bow. And each square is roughly 15 feet. So this encounter for Sylvia is within short range and for Liz is within medium range. I'll do Liz first. 1d6 plus 2 damage. Well, her missile Thaco is 14. She hits AC 6. That's a miss. Sylvia, whose missile Thaco has dropped to 14, gets plus 1 for short range. She's on 1d6 plus 3 damage. She hits and she does 7 damage to the shaman, but more importantly, she interrupts her spell. Are we gonna cast spells? You know, are we gonna cast haste? Ah, damn it, I forgot. The bless. Okay. Sylvia did 8 damage. Right, are we gonna cast haste? No, I think we're gonna cast sleep. It's a classic. And that's 7 points. That's enough to put 3 of these creatures to sleep. That leaves 5 of them standing. And let's just wait in there with melee. Donard. And does not kill one, but it's down to 1 HP. Stephen. Misses. Carrick. Hits and kills one. There are 4 left standing. Right, it's their turn. There's one on Stephen. There's one on Donard. That leaves 2 free for missile attacks. And they are going to target... One is going to target Malin with a throwing spear. It misses. And the other one is going to target Liz. And it hits her for 4 points. Then we have the 2 which are in melee. The one that's on Donard misses. The one that's on Stephen. Right, their Thaco is 18, so that's AC 2. That's a miss. His AC is -1. Round number 2. They get initiative. They're going to try their missile round again. That was an attack on Malin, misses. An attack on Liz, which hits AC 6. That misses her. The book does give us a list of Khazrag, the shaman spells, and the order they're to be cast in. She missed her blight. The next spell she casts is Hold Person, and she can choose 4 of us. She's going to choose Liz, Sylvia and Malin, and Stephen. So we have to make 4 saving throws versus spells. I'll do Stephen first. He needs a 14. And he makes it. I'll do Malin next. He needs a 15. And he makes it. I'll do Liz. Whoops. She needs a 15 and she makes it. Oh, no, she doesn't make it because she has a wisdom of 7. So that's a -1 penalty onto that. So Liz is held. And Sylvia gets a 15, and I believe that's good enough for an elf of level 4. And it is, and she gets a +1 wisdom bonus. So Liz is held. We've got 2 melee gnolls, one on Donard, who hits him for 3 points. We've got one on Stephen, who misses him. Right, that was their turn. Let's do our turn. Missiles. Sylvia on this gnoll shaman woman, with 1 for short range and 1 for the blast. She hits her and does 4 damage. The shaman woman is down to 2. Spells. Alright, Malin is gonna cast haste. This is towards the evening, so we might as well use up what spells we have before we camp for the night. So he's gonna cast a haste spell. Is Donard gonna bother with a strike? Nah, he's just going to strike. So we have melee, and we have Donard with the gnoll in front of him. Well, he hits, we'll do the orange first. He hits and kills with that one, and he is able to turn around and hit and not quite kill with that one. Let's see what Stephen can do. He blows hot and cold, does Stephen. And, well, he hits with both, okay. But his damage, he does 1d8 plus 2, plus 2 for the blast. So it's 2, plus 2 for the blast, plus 4 for his strength and sword. Yeah, he gets up to the 8 needed to kill the one that's on him. So that leaves Carrick with a fresh gnoll to kill, and maybe he can spin round and kill the shaman woman. Or maybe he can't. Yes, he can. So with this dice, look at the high score. Sorry, that was a 15, wasn't it? With this dice, look at the high score of damage. Completely kills a gnoll, turns round. Look at that. Good enough to hit. Max damage, decapitates what's left of the gnoll shaman, who already has 2 arrows in her. So we're going to have to hang around and wait for Liz to be free. Or else, Donard, who has a hold spell that I always forget about. A hold spell can be reversed, and the reverse form is free person, and he will cast that on Liz. So, in the mist we see the shaman's hut. We'll investigate the shaman and the gnolls for any treasure or anything that might be useful, and then we can see in the distance this little hut in the mist, and we will examine it because it might be somewhere where we can stay for the night. Right, we'll see how that goes. Right, we might as well search the gnoll shaman and her hut, and the gnolls which attacked us. The gnolls which attacked us don't really seem to have much in the way of treasure. The gnoll shaman, on her body we find 2 potions of healing and a potion of speed. Very pleased with that. We can then search her hut, and we find 5 gems worth 100 each, and then we find a clerical scroll that has got Cure Light Wounds, Hold Person, Striking, and Neutralize Poison on it. All of those are very handy, and it's interesting to note that we have a level 1, 2, 3 and 4 spell on this scroll. Things are getting better. We're also told there is a lean-to hut beside it where the other gnolls came from, and that has 23 electrum pieces in it. The odds of us rooting around there to find that are probably close to 0. I mean, who wants to root around gnolls' beds? The party did think that this hut might be a place to stay. However, since the night is setting in, events soon decide otherwise for us. So the burial ground is here, the hut is here, and the party are about here. They hear in the distance that yipping, wailing hyena noise, which seems to be coming closer. We have to set off and find somewhere that we can, well, where exactly? It has to be some sort of place which offers us somewhere to hide. Maybe a cleft in a rock. A cave would be great. It might end up just being behind some boulders. But this valley is rising upward. We're going to have to light a torch, as even though the sky is starting to turn pale to dark blue of the evening, as I've said before, the sun can't reach into this valley, so we have to pick our way through all of this before it becomes too dark. And as soon as we get some distance behind us, the party look behind to the burial ground and they hear quite a cacophony of gnoll cries. So we stop and look back, and there we see a massive bonfire being lit. It's too far away to determine the exact size of it, nor can we see how many gnolls are around it, but it might seem that they have set fire to the little hut and maybe torn down some trees. But whatever's happened, when we look back, it becomes apparent that there's a huge number of gnolls on this burial mound, and they've discovered that we have violated it. And Stephen asks, how many do you think they are? And Sylvia, who has the sharpest eyes, kind of grimaces and says, I don't know, looks to be well over 100. Right, if 100 gnolls catch up with us, we're dead. But it does seem that they are staying put for the evening as they chant and holler around their bonfire. We're going to have a rather disturbed night's sleep with 2 people keeping watch, but nonetheless, the party are going to have to go to sleep. It's also, the book tells us that we're back again on this optional encounters table where we roll for random events once a day and once a night. I'm going to put that into play later, but for the first night, the party are going to keep watch and try and track this army of 100 gnolls, which will probably be on the hunt after us. And I'm also going to have to keep track of the calendar because this part went to pot when we were in Threshold. So there's quite a bit of DM admin to do in this part. I have to say this is not gelling with me, this section of the adventure. I'm probably going to have to take it in short baby steps of 5 minutes each and make my way through it. I'm really not getting some overall sense of what's happening. Okay, well, I and the party will get through this valley somehow, but the party wake up the next day and the mist has cleared and they can see in the distance the burial mound. They can see smoke rising from the ashes of the bonfire, but they can also see a dark shape, which is a horde of gnolls, which is coming up the valley after them. Well, spells still have to be learnt in the morning. If we make a breakfast, then we have to kick over our traces. Gnolls are dog-like. They have a certain sense of smell, I'm sure. But as soon as everything is ready, there's no time to waste. We have to hurry up and move on. Right, so the party have woken up and they have seen the black line of the gnoll army coming up the valley behind them. So they have to keep going on. They get to about here, it's the middle of the day, and lo and behold, out from behind a load of rocks jumps a whole horde of gnolls, and there are 17 of them, and they get surprised. Right, it's going to be impossible for all of them to get line of sight in the first attack, simply because the fact that they were hiding would indicate that there wasn't much room. So it's unlikely that all 16 of them will get an attack in this first round. So I will do 8 of them. I will do 1 on each of the party members and then an extra on Donard and Carrick. So I might as well do, right, the 2 on Donard. Both miss. The 2 on Carrick. Both miss. I'll do Liz and Malin. Liz is the orange dice. Right, well, Malin gets hit for 3 points. And then I'll do Stephen and Sylvia. Stephen is the orange dice. And Sylvia gets hit for a point. That's the surprise round. Round number 1. And we get initiative. Okay, well this makes things very handy because we have both Malin and Sylvia have sleep spells. But by this time, all of the gnolls have rushed out. So the 8 which threw the spears will still be unranged. The other 8 will have their swords and there's a gnoll leader with a battle axe. Right, but we've got 2 ranged people. We have Liz and we have Stephen. And they're both going to take a pot shot at the spear throwers simply because they were the first to be seen. Liz, well, absolutely sweet shot. Sadly, she doesn't kill one, but takes it down to 1 HP. Stephen. Yeah, what's his missile Thaco is 16. That's a miss. Right, let's cast 2 sleep spells. Let's cast sleep on the bunch that are running towards us, and we'll have Malin do that. And he puts 8 hit dice to sleep, that's 4 of them. And let's do sleep on the spear throwers. That's enough to put 3 of them to sleep. So there's 5 spear throwers left. Will we cast a spell? Yes, Donard is going to cast Hold Person. He is going to cast Hold Person on the spear throwing gnolls because he would have seen them first and targeted them first. So they have a saving throw. Their saving throw is 16. So let's just roll for 2 of the spear throwing gnolls. 1 saves, 1 is held, and the other 2, both of those save. Right, so there are 4 spear throwing gnolls left. 1 is down to 1 HP. And we've got Carrick. Rushing forward. Charge! And he's going to take on the leader. And he does hit the leader for 7 points. He is from 16 to 9. Right, there go. There are 4 spear throwers left, and they're going to attack our back line. So I'll do, again, Liz and Malin. Both of whom get hit for 3 points. And then they're going to tackle Stephen and Sylvia. And they both miss. Then we have their front line. There are 4 gnolls and a gnoll chieftain. The gnoll chieftain is on Carrick, so I will do the 2 gnolls on Donard. Right, they have a Thaco of 18, so Donard gets hit for 3. That one misses Carrick, even though it got close. But what about the leader? With his battle axe. Yes, he hits. And he does 9 damage on our dwarf. He's down to 23. Right, that was round number 1. Round number 2. And they get initiative. I have to do all that again. Right, let's do their 2 spear throwers on Liz and Malin. They only have 3 spears each, so this will be the last missile round from them. Holy moly, they easily hit Malin for another 5 points. Right, or maybe he's going to have to run. And they hit Liz for another point. Let's do Stephen and Sylvia. They both miss. Right, and let's do their melee round again. The 2 on Donard. Both miss. The 2 on Carrick. Both miss. And the leader, who hits for another 2 points. Our round. Malin is going to run behind a rock. He's got 3 hit points left. Liz is going to try and shoot one of the archers. And she misses. Stephen is going to try and shoot one. He misses. Sylvia, she's going to cast her second sleep spell on the 4 archers. And she succeeds in putting all of them to sleep. So we've got the melee left. We're going to do Donard on a gnoll. He manages to hit and not kill one. It's down to 1 HP. Carrick is on the chief. And that's a miss. So that was round number 2. Let's do round number 3. They get initiative. Like, there's only 5 of them standing, and that's all melee. 2 on Donard. Both miss. They miss Carrick. And the chief misses. So it's our turn. Malin is hiding. The archers are asleep. Let's do Liz on a gnoll fighting Donard. She hits and kills one. Let's do Stephen. He misses. Let's do Sylvia, who misses, and that's a fumble. Okay, fumbles are not a rule. I only introduced them if the party were firing over the shoulders of their own front line. There's enough space left and right to target these gnolls, so she wouldn't have hit Carrick in the back of the head. I hope that makes sense. Right. Well, let's do the melee. Donard hits AC 5 and he takes another one down to 1 HP. Let's do Carrick on the chief, who refuses to go. No, actually, he hits AC 5 and look at that. That's another decapitation. We like those. So there are 3 gnolls left and it's round number 4. and we get initiative. Right, we don't have time to tie these up and torture them, because coming up the valley behind us is this horde of over 100 gnolls. And in fact, Malin points and says, look, because a small party have broken away, there's about 30 of them, including a couple of ogres, which seem to have been moving faster towards the party. So we have to finish this fight. There are 3 gnolls left standing. Liz hits and kills one. Stephen hits and reduces another one to 4. Sylvia, whose new bow skills are really not being put to the test. That's a near fumble. Right, there are 2 left. They're in melee. Oh my god, how often does our cleric hit himself in the kneecaps? Ah, do you know, I think the stress of the fight's getting to them, because that's when Carrick swings his sword and hits the rock. That was not what I wanted. So the 2 still standing have a go. I've been rolling the wrong damage dice. The one on Donard is the orange dice. And the one on Donard hits him for 9 points, down to 30. Right, it's round number 5. Boy, this is going on. And we get initiative again. There are 2 left. One is 4 HP. We've got 3 archers on him. Liz misses. Stephen hits and takes that one out. Sylvie's going to train her bow on the other one. And she misses again. She did cast 2 sleep spells. Okay, that's her contribution. Donard twirls around to attack the one that's on Carrick. And well, he hits and does 6 damage. It's got 2 left. Our dwarf, in a decapitation frenzy, does enough to kill it. That's more of a stab in the neck. Even though a gnoll is really quite tall, that's stabbed upward under the chin. Right, these gnolls are dead. There are 10 of them asleep. We really don't have time to loot the bodies, but we do have to dispatch the ones which are held and asleep. And then we have to hurry on post haste. We'll take a breath and we will heal the party, and I'll do that next time. Okay, so this session will end here. We'll begin the next session with a dose of healing, and I'll see you then.